Hello and welcome to Connecticut at Your Service. I'm your host today. My name is Terry Perkins. I'm normally the associate producer here for Carmen A. Nieves, but I'm filling in today and I'm super excited to have you guys here with me. We come to you live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. from Soundview Community Media. We're located in Stratford, Connecticut. Almost forgot there. But today we have a super special guest and we have a really important topic. So I'm really excited to bring you guys along with us. And welcome to Mr. Mike Donoghue, the Executive Director of Catholic Charities in Fairfield. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Terry. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome.
It's great to be here.
Thank you for being here. So just going to get right into it. I want to go into your background before we get into, the reason why you're here today. I looked at your bio and I saw that, you started in finance. So how did we get over to the nonprofit side?
Well, thanks. That's a great question. I did after school. I did have a finance career in New York City. I worked for Morgan Stanley and another smaller investment firm. So I did have an interesting finance career that helped me put my kids through school. Mm-hmm. But there was always something a little bit missing about that finance career, and I always had this interest in trying to do something to help the community and being able to give back for some of the blessings that I've had. So I intentionally retired when I was in my mid-50s and kind of was with the intent of trying to find some sort of role in the nonprofit world. And I had a couple friends who were on the board of Catholic Charities, and the executive director role came open and they thought I would be good for it. They did a search and I interviewed and somehow they came up with me. So, but I'm blessed and honored to have been able to taken that role. Nice.
And that's just a snippet of your story, of course. You're a part of a lot of things, a lot of, you have your hand in a lot of different organizations where you help out or, that are really good organizations. I also wanted to mention that you have a passion for baseball. I just wanted to throw that in there. You're a volunteer head coach and everything, and commissioner.
I'm a Boston Red Sox fan, which some people might not be happy about.
Oh, they're not going to like that.
No, what can do? I grew up in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to, Connecticut. You got your feet grounded here now. So,
yes.
So moving on, I also wanted to ask, and I like to ask this question to a lot of the guests we have, but who do you do it for? Who do you wake up every day and, who inspires you to get up and go?
Well, that's a great question. I'm really blessed to have come from a loving, close family. I have 4 sisters. I have a sister with special needs who, she can't read or write, but I've probably learned more from her over the course of my life than just about anyone else. She's just so loving and so kind and very authentic. She's just always herself. And so she motivates me, and for a lot of my life I've been around a lot of people with special needs. Mm-hmm. And I've been blessed in many ways. I guess I could have had the same disease that afflicted my sister. So I sort of feel like, well, God's put me on this earth and not have the same affliction as my sister, to be able to do some good. And so, hopefully I can, do some things each and every day to help make this world a better place.
That's a good mindset to have and to, wake up with every day, because we need more of that.
Well, thank you.
Yes. So getting into, the Catholic Charities of Fairfield and why you're here today, can you tell us what that is? Sure.
So Catholic Charities has been in Fairfield County for, I think it's 105 years now, since 1916. So we've been in all the major cities around the county: Bridgeport, Danbury, Stamford, and Norwalk. And our mission is to really help people of all faiths to permanently improve their lives. So we run a number of different programs trying to help people move out of poverty into a more sustainable life. So I'm blessed and honored to be the leader of that organization. I have a fantastic team of great people who wake up every day just trying to make other people's lives better. And that's one of the reasons I love coming to work every day.
Mm-hmm. And I saw you guys have over 36 programs and you help over 15,000 people each year. So
We do, and it's not me. I'm kind of the administrative person, but
you help
I
out.
I have an amazing team
Yes.
of people who are passionate and compassionate and do amazing work. A lot of people in the nonprofit world, they don't do it for the pay. It's not because it's the most lucrative job in the world, but doing service work is empowering, and I'm just blessed to have such a great team that does that every day.
Yes, and that's definitely something to applaud, the team and the people that, put in the work, and just the sheer amount of people that you get to impact each day. So I think that's awesome, that what you guys do. So I want to also get into the Thomas Merton Center and the new one that's going to be coming in November. So we have a video on that. I want to show that to everybody shortly, but could you share, before we get into it, can you share what that specific center is?
Sure, and let me just a little background on the Thomas Merton Center if I can. So the Thomas Merton Center, we're about to celebrate our 50th anniversary. In 2024 will be the 50th anniversary. Thomas Merton Center is the largest soup kitchen, food pantry, day shelter in Bridgeport.
Wow.
It was started by a group, grew out of a prayer group that was part of Sacred Heart University.
Wow.
But it's grown over the years, as I said, to be this large soup kitchen, day shelter, food pantry. And really the mission of the Merton Center is to treat everybody that walks in our door with dignity that every human being deserves. Right. And our clients tend to be some of the chronically homeless, people that live in their cars, some people with mental illness, substance abuse issues, but also an awful lot of the working poor. And while Merton's been a fantastic place for almost 50 years, we've always felt that we've wanted to try to do more to help our guests who come in every day, to help them get to a better life. So we polled our guests and tried to find, okay, what are the things, if we could provide the other things that we could help with. And so our clients basically told us, many of them don't get regular medical care. They could use some housing assistance, assistance with immigration issues, help with job training. So we set about to find a new, larger space, and we've done that. And we've spent the last couple of years in a construction project, and we're close to opening our doors. So this might be a good time for us to show the video, and then we can talk a little bit more about the work that we're going to be doing at the new Merton Center that we're really excited about.
All right, sounds good. Let's watch that video.
Thomas Merton Center started out as a soup kitchen some 47 years ago, where we provide hot meals, breakfast and lunch. We provide showers, case management. We have an Eat Smart pantry that we provide. We're one of the largest, or if not the largest, day shelter in the state of Connecticut. How you doing, Harry? It's a place where everybody kind of knows your name. We really foster building relationships with the people that come here. Annually, we serve about 460 to 500,000 meals. We used to get a lot of foot traffic, but now we're getting people driving up in cars and requesting assistance from our pantry. Thomas Merton Center did not close one day throughout the pandemic. That's been one of the things that Thomas Merton Center has been able to really do well, meet people where they are. So there's no requirements to come in the building other than that you're hungry and you're hospitable. When you give to a place like Thomas Merton Center, it really goes directly to the population that we serve.
Wow.
So like I mentioned, that was Bill Colson. Bill Colson's the director of the Thomas Merton Center, born and raised in Bridgeport, an amazing guy who is really all about the mission and lives the mission of Merton every single day. He and Sabina Kusko, who's the assistant director, just do an incredible job with the team and do so much for our guests each and every day. I'm just so blessed to work with Bill and Sabine.
Wow. Well, thank you. And that was a really informative video. I hope that people who are watching can really take in that information, look at the website as well, and just make sure that you share that resource and utilize that resource. And as you were saying before we showed the video, I really like that you guys do a poll. You did a poll to see, how can we better serve you guys? So I think that's definitely, good and just shows the.
Yes, and if I can mention, that shows the current center where we are,
Right.
the new facility, if I can mention, We're moving to a new facility, which is on 1406 State Street in Bridgeport. So it's about a mile away from the current facility, a little bit more on the west side of town, and a little bit more of a heavily populated neighborhood. In this new facility, we'll continue to do the food services that were shown in the video. We serve breakfast and lunch every day. And then we have a food pantry where our guests can come in and shop. They can come in and get 10 days worth of groceries, and we serve almost 500 families out of that food pantry. We'll continue to run that. But on the second floor of the building, Southwest Community Health is going to be running a medical clinic. So a lot of our guests will be able to, if they never unfortunately get regular medical care, so they'll be able to walk upstairs and get primary medical care, have access to behavioral health counseling, and Southwest will bring a mobile dental clinic periodically to Merton Center. Also, we'll have our immigration legal services team there. So for a lot of the newcomers to our country who want to get on the path to citizenship or to get green cards so they can work, many of the immigrants that we work with, their only option is to try to hire a law firm, which is really expensive. And so we do that work for a very nominal fee. We have some housing specialists that will be at the new building. We hope to have ESL classes, financial literacy classes. We've just struck a partnership with Career Resources, who will do job training in the new facility. So we're really excited about this new facility. Plans are to open at the end of November with an open house, and hopefully in December we'll be in this great brand new facility.
Oh, that's awesome. You covered everything. I do want to ask though, so for like the food pantry and things like that, those things are free?
They are free of charge. In the food pantry, in order to have access to the food, you do need to sign up, and there's certain income qualifications.
And ID as well you need?
Yes, but we serve anyone undocumented, documented. But there is a little bit of an income constraint. You know, if somebody's making $200,000 a year, they can't necessarily want to get free food. But I think anybody who's below a certain percentage of the median area income can come in and receive the food at no charge.
That's good to know. So we have some slides as well. I know that you guys have volunteers that come into the Merlin House and other programs that you guys have as well. So can you tell us how the volunteers would sign up, or how that goes?
Sure. We couldn't run the Merton Center without our volunteers. I think we have something like 500 volunteers that come in every day. Now, one of the we have volunteer groups that come in and help us prepare and serve the meals. So we have a staff of about 10 people, and we have a head chef. But for each meal, volunteer groups kind of come in and help us, prepare and serve those meals. And serving the meals as everybody comes up through a line with their tray, and for a lot of volunteers and for me, being able to look those people in the eye and let them know they matter each and every day when you're giving them the food is important. So if anybody, we have a volunteer coordinator. Her name is Karen Forsora, and it's on our website, ccfairfield.org, which we'll talk about. But you can reach out to us through the website and sign up to be a volunteer. Volunteers also help as kind of personal shoppers in the food pantry, where they go around. Our pantry, we don't just hand somebody a bag of food, because that way they might be getting food that they wouldn't need or want. And so we have kind of personal shoppers that go around and help people pick food out. And we also have people that help us stock the shelves. So there's lots of things that volunteers can do at the Merton Center, and we wouldn't exist without them. So that's great.
So I'm glad I asked that. That's definitely helpful information. And then also, you also get donations of things. So can you talk about donations as well?
Sure, and we do publicize this on our website periodically in terms of what we need in our food pantry. In fact, our shelves have been very, running low recently because there's just been so much demand for food. Food prices have gone up quite a bit. So we maintain a list on our website of what our most needed items are, but it tends to be basics like, rice and cereal and peanut butter, jelly, pasta, bottled water. We do run food drives from time to time, but on our website there's a list, and on our social media, of the things that are most needed at any given time.
That's good. So make sure to definitely check out that website to see how you can help out in that way, whether that be donating or volunteering as well. So I also wanted to talk about something that was mentioned in the video. the director, I can't remember his name.
Bill Colson.
Yes. He mentioned,
phenomenal individual. Yes.
Yes. He mentioned that you used to get a lot of more so foot service and you get more car service now. Can you speak on kind of the changing, the way that things are changing and the current climate of things?
Yes, and unfortunately, our numbers have grown. We'd love to see the numbers dwindle, but unfortunately they're growing. Historically, we've always served and will continue to serve a group of kind of chronically homeless, unfortunately people who live in their cars, mentally ill, and we continue to serve a lot of those individuals. We have a live call-in.
We do have a live
But now there's a lot more working poor who really need our help because rents are up and gas costs are up and food costs are up.
Yes.
And we have a live call-in. How about that?
Let's see who's calling. Hello, welcome to Connecticut at Your Service. Did you have a question?
Yes, I'm just wondering, what do y'all do for people with like food allergies? How do you help people with that?
That's a great question. If any of our guests come through with a food allergy, we try to accommodate. We do have people who are gluten-free and have issues along those lines, and so we always try to have different options. It's a hot cooked meal, and so we try to accommodate, and we try to ask guests who have any issues to let us know when they come in to the cafe.
That's a great question. Did you have any other questions?
No, that's the only question I have.
Okay, well, thank you, and make sure to keep watching.
Thank
I
you.
will.
Bye-bye. That was a good question. It's definitely, you guys seem to be very mindful of those things. But you're also speaking about kind of some of the issues that you were saying. So I don't know if you could pick up.
Yes, unfortunately, as everyone knows, in the wake of the pandemic, we've had rampant inflation.
Right.
Housing costs have gone up substantially, so rents in Bridgeport and the surrounding areas are up tremendously. The cost of gas, the cost of food is up. So this didn't used to happen as much, but so many of the working poor, people might be able to afford their rent, but if you're making $15 an hour in Fairfield County, it's hard to afford food and gas and rent. Right. So more and more people will come either before work, drive up in their cars, get a meal, go off to work, and then maybe come back at lunch. It's unfortunate, but we're here to help in those instances.
Right. Well, that's good to know as well. So thank you for sharing that. So I guess branching out a bit, we said over 36 programs that you guys have in this foundation. So if we could just talk a little bit about some of the different ones, or not super brief, but you have programs focused on food and nutrition, housing services, family community resources, mental health, immigration, education, adoption, parenting education program. You can find all this information on the website, but just to focus on a few, it's all throughout Connecticut to an extent, right?
In Fairfield County.
Okay.
We're in the main cities in Fairfield County.
Okay.
And we have another caller.
Another caller, let's see. Hello, thank you for calling Connecticut at Your Service. Did you have a question?
Yes, just wondering how does Catholic Charities assist people in getting housing? There's such a lack of housing.
Thank you.
That's a very good question. And I wish we had an easy way to solve that problem. And that's something that I know our politicians and everybody's working on. There's not enough affordable housing in Fairfield County. And unfortunately, the homeless shelters are full. We are part of the 211 CAN system. So the CAN is the Coordinated Access Network, where a number of nonprofits, there's about 20 nonprofits who kind of work together to pool housing resources to help people. That includes the shelters. And so unfortunately right now, there's more people who need housing than there is housing available. Wow. Catholic Charities does own some housing in Stratford. We own 2 multi-family apartments in Stratford on Jackson Avenue in Stratford that serve formerly homeless families, and we provide some case management services. But unfortunately, that facility is full, and so we can't throw people out of that facility. And so we work with the 211 system. So anybody who's struggling with homelessness or not happy with their housing has to call 211, and they try to either put them in shelters or triage. Sometimes the system says, okay, can you live with a family member or an uncle's couch? And so we try to help that way.
Okay.
The other way we're trying to help is to try to build more affordable housing. Now, the current Merton Center that you saw in the video, once we move to the new facility, our intent is to try to convert that into affordable housing.
Nice.
And we hope that will create a lot more units. The problem with that is developing housing like that will take probably at least 2 years. But so, lobby with your legislators for more affordable housing, and in every community, not just in the Bridgeports of the world, every community should have affordable housing.
Right.
But thank you for that question.
Did you have any
Thank
other
you.
questions? I'm sorry. Did you have any other questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you for calling in. Keep watching, please. Wow, okay.
So you had just asked me a question about Catholic Charity Services around
Yes.
the county. And we do have approximately 36 programs. And in some ways, I think it confused people because we had all these different programs. And so strategically, what we're trying to do is organize all of these services into 4 different family centers
Okay.
around the county. So historically, we've run great programs, but they were what we call siloed. So if somebody had a housing program, they went to one group.
Okay.
If somebody had a food program, a food problem, they had to call somebody else. If somebody had an immigration issue, they went somewhere else. If they needed behavioral health counseling, and we had all these groups kind of spread around the county. But the model is really what we're doing at the Thomas Merton Center.
Sounds like it, yeah.
We're going to have one facility, like the current Thomas Merton facility that we're moving out of is about 5,500 square feet. The new facility is about 13,000 square feet. So we're bringing all of our Bridgeport programs, about 10 Bridgeport programs, into one facility. So, we kind of realized a lot of the guests and the people we work with, transportation is difficult. A lot of them are taking the bus or they're walking. So if they've got to go to 4 different places, it's harder. Now they can come to one facility, hopefully get food and nutrition and medical care and behavioral health care and job training and immigration help. So that's the kind of the model of what we're doing here in Bridgeport. And the next step is to try to do those same things in Norwalk and Stamford and Danbury.
Right. So that's good. I think that's a great model. I'm excited to see how that works out because, a lot of those things are typically connected. You struggle over here, you might need this over here. So I think that's a good model to set up. There was another thing as well, as far as housing. You mentioned the Bethlehem House.
Yes.
Can you speak on that? Because that's in this area as well.
It is. Bethlehem House is in Stratford, and a tremendous group of concerned citizens in Stratford, actually about 25 years ago, led by former Judge Paul Kermay, a retired Judge Paul Kermay, I should say, decided we've got to do something about homelessness in this area. And they bought one apartment building on Jackson Ave. It was dilapidated, in need of a lot of work, and they put a lot of their time and energy and sweat equity into fixing it up, rebuilding it, and that's a multifamily home that can house 6 families. Then the building next to it came up for sale, and they purchased that home and spent a lot of time and effort. And so a lot of tremendous volunteers here in Stratford put a lot of time into building and creating these 2 houses. And they felt, and I think we all believe, no one should live on the street, and especially a family. So this housing is especially for families, and a lot are single moms with young children, and we now have a place where we can house them.
Nice.
And this group is still very involved. They kind of turned the properties over, donated them to Catholic Charities. So we manage them, and we provide case management services. So we have case managers that'll, once you move out of homelessness, you usually need some additional help.
Right.
And so our case managers try to connect them with lots of other resources. But this Bethlehem House Advisory Board is still very involved in the operation of the home. In fact, this coming weekend, they have a little fundraiser in Bridgeport at the Bijou Theater. It's a Michael Jackson impersonator. Should be a lot of fun. We do something like that every year. But again, this is how a lot of our things happen with concerned citizens say, we want to do something about housing. They put this together, and now Catholic Charities is helping run it. The problem is, the good news is, we've been able to house 9 homeless families. The bad news is it's full and we don't have room for any more, and we need more affordable housing.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad that we do at least have the Bethlehem House, and it's a really cool, it sounds like this, even the charity and the Bethlehem House and a lot of programs probably have this sort of origin story. People were concerned, they came together, and they decided to try and help others. So I think that's pretty cool. Another thing, a part of the programs that you guys offer, I saw mental health, and I thought that was really awesome to offer to people, especially, it's rampant, So I think
it really is, and especially in the wake of the pandemic. There's just so much more anxiety and depression, especially in young people. The one good thing is, historically, when I was growing up, if people had a mental health issue, they were always afraid to talk about it. And if somebody had a family member that had a mental health issue, it was something that you would never talk about.
Right.
I'm at least happy now that people are like, no, it's just like any other physical ailment. Like if you have a broken arm, you go to the doctor.
Right.
If you're having mental health issues, you really need to go see a counselor.
Right.
And we have mental health counselors throughout the county. We tend to work with a lot of people who are lower income, who don't have anywhere else to go for mental health. But we serve anyone and everyone who needs help with mental health counseling. So if you're having any issues with mental health, please go see someone and get some help.
Right. No, thank you for that. So I just saw that and I was like, man, that's awesome. So I definitely wanted to bring it up, hear from someone who knows what they're talking about here. So we're getting ready to wrap up. I just wanted to ask about any upcoming events that might be going on. I know you mentioned the benefit for the Bethlehem House. Is there anything else?
Well, we do have, we're going to be opening this new Thomas Merton Center. We're going to have an open house at the Merton Center on November 30th in the afternoon, so the public is welcome to come to that. But we have a number of events. There's lots of fundraising events. Most of what we do is privately funded, and there's a lot of that information for that is on our website. Again, we couldn't do this work without a lot of really concerned, wonderful people that give of their time, their talent, and their treasure.
Right. So just to mention again, where is the new Merlin Center going to be at?
The new Merton Center is going to be at 1406 State Street.
Right.
It's on the west side of Bridgeport, right across from Shav's Bakery, if anybody knows Shav's Bakery.
I think I know where that is. And then also, where can people find out this information? Like, how can people get in contact?
So please come to our website is ccfairfield.org. There's lots of information about all of our programs, contact information about any of us. My email's there if we can help you out in any way. So volunteers, anybody in need, please go to our website and let us know how we can help you out in any way.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for being a guest. I think I learned a lot. I hope the audience learned a lot as well. Make sure to check out the website for him and, maybe his email. And thank you so much for watching Connecticut at Your Service. Again, I'm your host today, Terry Perkins. We come to you live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. with a new topic and a new guest.